Last year we celebrated 60 years of Kenyan-German
Yes,
relations. In
yeah.
fact, Germany was the first country that recognized the independence of Kenya.
How do you find your experience so far?
Oh, still very amazing, I have to say. I discover new things almost every day.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite dish right now, Kenya?
As the Luos say, the reg, with the...
You already know reg. What would you say music has done to you?
For me personally also it's very important for my own balance somehow, you know, just to dive into a totally different world. Both listening but also playing myself.
Kenya-Germany relations spans over 5 decades, and because of that, these two countries have shared so much. Hello and welcome to Globe Traction. My name is Pasil Telewa, and today on the show, I sit down with Sebastian Groth, the Germany ambassador to Kenya, who is not just a diplomat. We speak about so much, you know, in terms of green finance to skilled labor migrations to his country, where you obviously know that they have lots of elderly population, and also a bit about his fun moments as he enjoys playing piano. I hope you enjoy Sebastian Groth's story. Mr. Sebastian, how do you like to be addressed?
You can address me like Sebastian if
Yeah,
you want.
yeah.
You can say ambassador, but this is still very new for me also.
Yeah.
You can say Mr. Groth, which is my second name,
Yeah.
but Sebastian is fine.
So Sebastian, welcome on set.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the time to be here with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we are almost celebrating your second year as the Germany's ambassador to Kenya. How do you find your experience so far?
Oh, still very amazing, I have to say. I discover new things almost every day.
Yeah.
I learn a lot about the region, about the country, about the people, about the culture, about the history and the politics. So I really can say that I still enjoy every day.
What do you love about this country so much?
Oh, there are so many things. As I said, first of all, the people, the friendliness, the kindness, the open-mindedness, the genuine interest also in everything. I also like the nature very much, both the coast but also upcountry, the mountain and
the villages,
the parks. I like the food also. I mean, just the basic quality of things, of vegetables, of meat, of the fruits is just amazing. You don't have to do a lot with it. You just eat it like this and it tastes.
Do you have a favorite dish right now, Kenyan?
You know, I really love seafood. I know that Kenyan style, that's not Kenyan in a way. But I think, of course, the coast is an important part of Kenya. And whenever I go there, I eat a lot of it. I also like fish in general. So also the Lake Victoria, as the Luos say, the reg, with the...
You already know reg.
Yes, I tasted it in a restaurant called Mama Oliech in Dagoretti Corner.
Oh gosh, then you're not new
but
anymore.
I was a bit harassed on Twitter because I put a photo where I eat the reg with a fork.
No,
and
you
people
eat
say
with your hands.
Never eat it with a fork.
Yeah.
So then I went to another restaurant called 3D, which is also very sort of lure-oriented spot, and there I eat it with the hands. So I'm progressing, I'm learning.
Yeah.
No, but I like this very much, but I like also nyama choma, I like the kuku, the mbuzi, the salads that you have, the kasubari, everything. And I love parachichi, and if you know the way Kenyan farmers learned to grow avocados is really amazing, because I worked here 20 years ago already. And there you only had these very big parachichis that are okay, but
almost a head size.
Exactly, like a melon, you know. But now there you find the Hass avocado, the smaller ones everywhere, and they taste really excellent.
Great. I'm seeing you have so much advanced in your Swahili that you're even talking about parachichi. I mean, very few Kenyans also will use we call it the actual Swahili and not, just say avocado. So congratulations, you're not doing so bad.
Yes, but I'd like to do better actually.
You'll certainly do better.
Yeah, I took lessons also here in Nairobi, but it's really tough to put it in your schedule. And but I'm still very motivated, and I will advance.
So all the best. I know you'll do well.
Thank you.
Let's talk about our relations. You know, as two countries, and you know we have a deep history. You know,
yes.
spanning more than 30, 40 years now. Tell me about the future for Kenya and Germany.
So last year we celebrated 60 years of Kenyan-German relations. In fact, Germany was the first country that recognized the independence of Kenya in 63. That's why I also have the number plate 1CD1K, because we were the number one.
I see, yeah.
So still grateful to my predecessor that he was so patient, waiting outside State House probably. Being the first to hand over the documents. No, but I think we really had a long journey together. I mean, the times were all different. We had two blocks in the world, the Soviet bloc and the Western-led bloc. So this played ideologically quite an important role. Kenya already then was a very important partner for Europe, for Germany, and I think there's a long tradition also in development cooperation. So Kenya is one of the prime partners for development cooperation for Germany. Now, when we look to today and to the future, I think we are growing out of this development cooperation relationship into a really political relationship where we still do development cooperation in this country, but where we look to also an agenda of joint interests that we can pursue both bilaterally but also in the region and even globally. And in this regard, Kenya is one of the most important partners for Germany in Africa. And we have a lot of German politicians visiting your country. President Ruto and Chancellor Scholz met about 6 times in the last 18 months. Both bilaterally but also in bigger conference settings. Our foreign minister was here also and was invited by the minister for dinner. It's Zangana's State Lodge, and it was a very good conversation. And also, as you said, looking into the future. So what is the agenda? And I think it's very much climate and energy related. Kenya is a world leader in renewable energy, and you want to go to 100% renewables in 2030.
Is that achievable from your perspective? Because we're just a few years away from that.
Yeah, but you're already at 94, so you only need 6%. You know, you have to phase out some of the fossils and have to invest a little bit in more in geothermal and hydro, and you're doing this, and solar and wind. I think it's absolutely achievable. Germany will go to 80% by 2030, but of course our energy cake is much bigger. So if you look into the megawatt that we need, it's much more than Kenya. But we are also very ambitious, but not as ambitious as Kenya. And the interesting thing is that Kenya is now leading a coalition of African countries that all commit to this 100% goal.
How many so far are we talking about?
It's 7 countries.
Okay, I see.
And it's supported by Germany and Denmark and by IRENA, the International Agency of Renewables Energies. And our State Secretary for International Climate Policy is due to come in 2 weeks' time to talk also with the Kenyan government exactly about this project.
Great. So there is a lot of interest to do with green energy and, just to face away climate change, because it's not something we can ignore. There is a lot that has been going on, and still happening, because looking at the floods that happened just a few days in Dubai and even locally here in the country and many other countries, including fires. What do you have to say from your perspective? Because you are, one of the key stakeholders.
No, I think what we see nowadays really is the effect of climate change on a day-to-day basis. It's very hard to ignore it.
It is.
Even if you're ideologically probably on the position not to believe the scientists.
It has to be in your agenda.
But you feel it every day, basically. And it's the same in Germany, by the way. We had, or globally, January, February and March were the hottest month on record since temperatures are measured since 150 years ago. And the overall ocean temperature also in January, February, March was as hot as never before, measured in these 3 months. And there you see that we are really coming in a new dynamic now of the effects of climate change.
Yeah.
And I think we have to work on many, many fronts. The first is the decarbonization of our economic system. So put out as much fossil fuels as possible. And in this regard, the decision at the COP28 at Abu Dhabi was almost historic to say that we will phase out in the next decades from coal and gas mainly and oil. The second thing is that we increase also the part of renewable energy. I mean, as I said, Kenya in this regard is a world leader, but it's a global effort, and now there's a commitment to triple the part of energy of renewables energies, and also to work on energy efficiency. But there's another point I think that that was very important in Dubai. That was the installation of the so-called loss and damage fund. That means that we will have a global compensation scheme for loss and damages due to climate change, which will basically be a system of redistribution also from the north to the south to compensate for what happened. And I think we will go, that's my personal assumption, also more into adaptation in the future, meaning making our infrastructure resilient, like we see now here in Kenya, the roads, the building structures, the bridges. But also in Germany we have to do the same. We have to be much smarter in urban planning to cool down the temperatures in urban areas. We have to work on public transport systems also. I think there's a lot to be done. Also because it is a reality that we face, so the resilience will be and adaptation will be a very important point in the future.
When we're speaking about that, there's lots of questions that arise, in terms of funding and sustainability, and even as we speak about adaptability at the same time. How do you ensure, and especially for the African countries, I understand you're just not in charge of Kenya, you're in charge of Somalia and Seychelles.
Right.
How do we make sure it's all sustainable?
I mean, that's a challenge. Also, if you look into the development of the carbon markets, there were some scandals in the past about misuse of money and misuse of funds. It's always a challenge. And by the way, not only in Africa, it's the same in Europe and other parts of the world. I think we have to install good oversight and transparency mechanisms, and that's something where Germany is quite involved in, here in Kenya and in other parts of the world as well. We need a strong civil society that controls a little bit. We need a strong press, good journalists that look into things. And then I think good partnerships between institutions in Europe and institutions here. A strong United Nations is also quite important in this regard. I mean, you never have a 100% guarantee. There's always a risk, of course, but I think that everybody now understands the importance also to go into this direction of more sustainability and environmental friendly policies.
Let's talk about what partnerships you have in store. Because I understand your office has lots of projects happening. But I'd love to know what is currently going on and what are you looking forward to bring on board?
So in our development cooperation, we are working in 3 areas mainly. One is, as I said, the climate energy. The other one is agriculture. So it's all about food security, but it's also about livelihood of people. It's about education. And the third is has everything to do with youth, employability, and TVET. So TVET is an extremely important project for us, but also for the Kenyan government. It's about skills, about employability, about giving perspective to the youth. And it's, if I may say so, quite a very sort of German concept, a dual system of vocational training where you have a theoretical part in a school and a practical part in a company. So that you have both skills, theory and practical skills.
Is it apprentice kind of?
Exactly. And the president, Ruto, is very much behind it, and we are trying to help as much as possible because we are we are one of the countries with the lowest youth unemployment rate in Europe, and one reason for this is that we have this system also. Yeah. We are trying to build this up here in Kenya as well.
Yeah, I read that you're talking about 400,000, skilled laborers. Is that the case? So far, where are you at?
Yeah, this is something that we are looking in Germany now, because our society is growing older, and we have a lack of skilled labor. The figures fluctuate a little bit, but let's say between 250,000 and 400,000 a year. In different areas of service or value-adding, hospitality sector, for example, logistics. And the German government changed its immigration laws in order to facilitate what we call skilled labor migration. And we have a special envoy of the federal government, Mr. Stamp, who is traveling around the world, identifying partner countries and negotiating labor agreements with them. Right. And one of these partner countries is Kenya. Yeah. And in fact, we are so advanced now, so we hope to finish the negotiations in the next weeks, that the agreement that Germany will enter with Kenya might be a sort of model agreement also for other countries, for other partner countries. And then we will try to sign this agreement as soon as possible, and then facilitate the skilled labor migration from Kenya to Germany.
How long is the process likely to take from when you finish signing? We need to have these skilled laborers also trained. There's also the bit about German language acquisition, which they need to go through. So how soon, or what is the duration approximately likely to be? We are not starting at zero. We are having already people from Kenya going to Germany, about 500 to 600 a year, that go there for work. We have bus drivers, we have doctors, we have hospitality personnel, nurses. Everything, basically. But what we want to do is to scale it up. And a lot has to be done, both here on the Kenyan side, as you say, German language is one element that is important, but also on the German side, we have to work on how the different administrations cooperate and exchange information in order to facilitate also the visa process. And the immigration process as such. But I think the need is there in Germany to move fast, and we will move fast. And my personal interest is to push Kenya in this regard also in the German perspective, so that Kenya really is a very interesting partner country. And I think this whole discussion really gained traction during the visit of Chancellor Scholz here to Kenya, because he talked about it extensively with President Ruto. And when our Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock was here in January, they also talked a lot about this. And it is a very positive thing, because it brings our interests together, a lot of very skilled, very motivated Kenyans, and a lack of young and skilled and motivated people in Germany somehow. So I think it's a win-win partnership. I've seen you traverse across the country. I don't know if there's any county you haven't been to. Is there any?
Oh, definitely, yes. But I'm trying to tick the boxes.
Yeah, but I've seen you in Homa Bay, in Turkana, it's in Kilifi. I don't know. Why is it that you haven't been to? And it's impressive what you're doing. But fill me in on what you're doing in terms of, youth and employability.
So there are actually really some counties left to visit, both here in the area in the central region, but also if you look to the areas towards Ethiopia or Somalia. So I'm very interested also to go there if the circumstances allow. No, everywhere I go, I discover new things, and it's also, I think, for diplomats very, very important to leave the sort of Nairobi bubble and go out and
experience the real life.
Exactly, and I met really a number of impressive governors also out there, and also civil society representatives, journalists. that are so ambitious and so good. So it's just amazing to see also the different cultures. I mean, you have a number of different communities in Kenya. You know it better than I do, and it's so amazing to see the different cultures, the clothing, the food, everything. To the diversity of the country is just an amazing asset.
It is. It's beautiful. What about the young people?
Yeah, the young people are the future of this country.
I know there's football tournaments going on.
Yes.
That's what I want to hear from you.
Yeah, that's something that we do together with the European Union delegation in the context of the Europe Day, which is celebrated in May. We are organizing 4 county tournaments and then a final tournament round in Nairobi in mid-May. And we are working also on an invitation then of the winning teams to Europe and some other attractive prizes. And Germany took and sponsored one of the tournaments that will happen next week in Malindi, so in Kilifi County, but the tournament will be in Malindi. I will also be going there and open it and close it. And it's a very amazing thing because also the European Championship will happen in Germany this year, so the European Cup basically. And we are trying to bring all these different elements together.
When you're not being a diplomat, what else do you do? Because I know you have lots of hobbies you do during your free time.
Yes, one amazing thing here in Kenya for me personally is the opportunities in sports. You can do basically everything. It's also easy to find excellent trainers that can help you a little bit. So I play a little bit of tennis and swimming and other sports. But I also do a lot of music, also with Kenyan friends.
Yes.
Jazz mainly, and I like reading. I just like, as everybody else, watching a movie or even sometimes cooking. That's relaxing for me.
Yeah, I know you play the piano.
Yes.
Were you self-taught or were you taught?
No, in Europe or in Germany, there's this very good system of public music schools, almost in every village. And so I had just, my parents subscribed me to this music school, and once a week when I was 8 I started, and then I changed my teachers up to 18 approximately, so I had 10 years of lesson, and my father is playing the double bass, so he introduced me to jazz because I learned classical piano mainly.
Great. How old are you now, if you don't mind?
51.
51. Yeah. You don't look 51, by the way.
How do I look like?
So tell me a little bit about family, Sebastian.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm here with my wife and 2 kids, 2 boys. They are 13 and 15.
Yes.
And so they are going to the German school, which is a very good school. So if there's anybody out there who might be interested in a German school, just try to get there. And they are happy. I mean, of course, there are things that they miss from Germany, like their friends, and like in German cities, you just go out a lot also. A lot of street life is happening, and here it's more in the estate or in the houses, and you have to drive from A to B. So they are now looking forward to the summer break also. But in general, it's very amazing for them also to be in Africa and to be in Kenya right now. My wife is an environmental lawyer, also a civil servant, but she's now on leave, unpaid leave, not on vacation, but on unpaid leave. So when we go back to Germany, then she can restart. But I think she's also enjoying it very much.
What bottlenecks have you faced? Since you came, there are times when you've tried to initiate a project or you're working on something, and then, it's a whole process. What bottlenecks have you faced so far?
Here in Kenya now?
Yeah, while conducting your duty.
You really have to push things forward, otherwise they don't move. And that things also take time, They take time, they take money and energy. And if you come, as I did, I worked for 8 years before in Berlin, you are a little bit used to another rhythm, Things...
a different way of doing things.
Different way also of doing things. But here, you have to understand, of course, as everywhere, and that was even the case in France, it's a different culture, it's a different understanding of public administration also, and you have to adapt. That's our business, you know, to adapt to a new environment. But in this new environment, try to pursue also the German and European interests as far as possible. And but I think with Kenya, as I said, the cooperation is excellent on all levels. Of course, there are here and there things that you think, why is this so? But I'm sure my Kenyan colleagues in Berlin feel the same from time to time. It's just natural, but the general understanding is very well, and the bottlenecks, we manage them.
Nice meeting you, and thanks so much for your time. I wish you had so much more, you know, time to speak about a lot more. But for today, I hope we're gonna keep interacting. For today, we're gonna wrap it there.
Okay.
Nashukuru sana.
Okay, asante sana, Fasil. Thank you very much.
If you are a fan of football, then you must be excited about the Euro 2024, and you can see why the embassy is also ensuring that the young people are taking up the football tournament. So I hope you enjoyed today's story. Many thanks for watching the show, and make sure you join us again next Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Kenyan time only on KTN News. If you have a story you'd like to share with us, please don't hesitate. Give us a write through globetraction@standardmedia.co.ke or DM us on our social media platforms at globetraction or at KTN News KE. You can also tap that follow button to me on my social media platforms at Pasil Telewa on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube for more of behind the scenes and many other upcoming opportunities and events. But until then, I hope to catch up with you again soon, same time, same place. Bye-bye for now.